Yo, Animatormon here, with another Rick and Morty review for YouTube. This episode is called, Look Who's Purging Now. Spoiler warning. In this episode, Rick and Morty need to stop by on this planet in order to get some wiper fluid, and they get involved in a purge, basically. Rick seems very nonplussed about possibly introducing the concept of aliens to this planet that may not have even known they existed. But that brings us to the point that, I like this idea because usually in sci-fi shows it's like Earth is the only planet that doesn't know about aliens or anything like that. But no, realistically speaking, there has to be other planets who wouldn't know about this stuff, who would be like Earth in the dark, possibly even more so in the dark. It's a really neat thing to tackle, to point out. What I've noticed is that this is yet another episode where the concept is based on a movie that is directly mentioned in the show. The other time was in episode 2 of season 1, Lawnmower Dog, where the concept was Inception. I think this kind of gives us a little bit of an insight into the writing process. Anyway, this episode was a little bit predictable during the beginning. The setup was a little bit predictable. I kind of knew immediately that Rick and Morty were going to get involved in the purge, and that it was probably going to be Morty's good nature that would cause it. They try to subvert it a little bit by having Morty say, "Oh yeah, we're going to get hit by a rock, and then we're going to fall and we're going to get involved in the purge, and it's going to be our own fault." But that wasn't enough to completely throw me off the scent, if you will. It also wasn't that too big a surprise that the girl they pick up is not exactly all she seems. That was a little predictable as well. But as we get on in the episode, it starts to become less predictable. Morty's quote, something along the lines of stories should start at the beginning, when he's listening to the guy's tale and giving him criticism. That line actually, that really feels like, Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon speaking directly through the character. That's how they approach their episodes. They start them at the beginning. We get to see that bottled up rage, that anger inside of Morty unleashed in this episode. And Morty goes nuts! He's killing people left and right. People who doesn't even need to kill. He's just shooting them up. Shooting up corpses. He doesn't give a damn. And this gives us an insight into Morty's true nature. As I've stated in previous reviews, it kind of seems like they're going for a thing where Morty's becoming more like Rick. And now he's killing people and not even feeling a tiny bit of remorse like Rick. And I'm really starting to think that a grown-up Morty would be a lot like Rick. And that the two are more similar than one might think. Morty, who's really been just the sidekick to the more interesting Rick, suddenly becomes quite fascinating all his own. And I hope they continue with this development, and we start to see more of this. When Rick explains the candy bar and how that's why you're acting so crazy, Morty. And he even says, breaking the fourth wall, your character is protected, it's safe. And that right in this split second, when I thought that was actually what was happening, it annoyed the crap out of me because I hate that. I hate the status quo. They have to go back to status quo. They can't. I hate that. But then they quickly follow it up with learning that candy bar didn't have the special chemical that does the thing that they thought it had done. And I don't know if Rick knew that and was just trying to protect Morty, trying to get him under control, or if he didn't. And neither of them know that that's really how Morty is, that deep down Morty is really like that. Towards the end, Rick himself comments on just the violence, how it's become almost gratuitous. And I have to question, is that a commentary on the episode, or are they just indulging in it? Because at that point, the violence really did become just meaningless and empty, and the viewer would definitely become used to it by that point. And I guess it can be argued whether that Whether it's just violence for the sake of it, or if it's trying to make a point. If it's trying to say, hey, don't go crazy with the violence, or else it loses its edge. Or it loses its edge. Or if it's just saying, if it's just a funny line. Or if they're just relishing in it, and they don't care. They don't care what we think about it, they're just going for it. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Jerry becomes a lot sadder in this episode. And it's hard to tell why it's gone this route. It's hard to tell if Jerry has become this naturally, or if, like I said before, they're going too far in that direction. Like, it almost becomes a little bit painful. Next episode, I'll be talking a lot more about that. So, tune in for that. I don't know if this means anything, but Summer seems to act like a early season 1 Summer in this episode. I don't know if this means anything, but Summer in this episode seems to act a lot like early season 1 Summer. Not really caring, just typing on her phone. I don't think it means anything, but, just wanted to mention it. Well, that's all I have to say about this. See you next time, and catch you on the flip side.